Hello and welcome back to Fantasy Hockey Picks and Bets. I'm your host, DJ Mitchell, here to cover the 6-game Friday NHL slate. It's St. Patrick's Day here right now on Thursday, and really it's all weekend. So I'm going to keep the St. Pat's jersey on. I'm kind of considering wearing it out in Buffalo on Saturday, but it is in Austin Matthews. Probably a fan favorite right now here in Buffalo, and I'm a Sabres fan, so I'm a little bit of a risk. Could get a stout port on this beautiful jersey. But I think I'm going to do it anyways. It's a nice jersey. And if anyone asks, I'm a jersey guy. I mean, look at this. It's felt. It's great. But there's no Toronto on this slate. So we're going to get to the 6 games in hand. It's a lot of back-to-backs. It's a lot of heavy favorites. And I think a lot of interesting news and notes that I'm going to cover. And I'm definitely placing some bets right now. The sooner you place some of these, I think the better. So let's get right into it with Washington at Carolina. I love Carolina here at -150. I think they're just a much better team. You are running the risk of Ranta in net, but he actually has played really, really well as of late. So because Anderson is starting against Toronto, in his last few games, he had 3 of 4 wins. He has a shutout in the mix. The last game against Pittsburgh, he gives up 2 and they lose. That's not completely on him. He's been a .917 save percentage goalie on the year. And just in general, I think Carolina is such a good defensive team that it makes up for a lot of negatives against. Is -150 the best line we might get? I'm not positive. I think at home, Carolina should handle this game. It's one of my favorite bets, but I do think it could get even better. Washington is getting healthier. I'm going to wait it out. I'm going to wait and see what Washington does, because they should easily, and they're already up 1-0 now, handle Columbus on a back-to-back. So maybe if Washington just puts the boots to them, we end up getting this line a lot closer to the mean. If we get it at -130, I think it's even better bet, obviously. Give me more money. So I'm going to wait on it, and hopefully it gets there. Carolina loses to Toronto. It's not a realm possibility either. Toronto's a great team. They're favored. So I'm hoping this line drops, but I do think Carolina definitely profiles to be the better team. Both teams, as I mentioned, are getting healthier. And that's why you look at these two lineups and you say, well, there's a lot of good players here. Like, this could kind of go either way. But at the end of the day, I don't think in net or defensively, Washington holds it up against this Carolina team. I mean, this is a team that is really only missing D'Angelo, and that's, not the worst or best situation. He's a good offensive player, but he doesn't really do a ton defensively for you. They have been missing him for sure in the offensive zone, but this is a team that rolls 4 lines that are just really, really sound all around. While Washington, I think, is a bit more fragile as far as their, bottom 6 is concerned. And defensively, they're really just kind of swimming through the guys trying to find the right fit. Carlson's great. Orlov is great. And then it's a bunch of guys I just don't really trust, and like Van Riemsdyk and Jensen and et cetera. I think that this is a really nice spot for Carolina, but that's all I'm really betting here. I think the over-under, 2 teams on a back-to-back, I just don't take those over-unders. You never know what you're going to get in net. And like I mentioned, it should be a less favorable goalie matchup. These teams push pace fine. One has Ovechkin, one has Aho and Svechnikov. They could find goals because they have that skills, but I don't think it profiles to be a really great over bet at over 6 at -115. So overall, I think I'm just going to bet Carolina here. As far as props are concerned, obviously Ovechkin's going to pop. He's averaging around 8 shots per game, attempts, that is. So yeah, he's about 4.5 right now at plus money. I think if you bet it every single night, you're just kind of hoping that he continues to put around 8 shots towards the net, and most of them find it. I think he should hit most nights, but it's Carolina. Like, I personally just not going to favorite that one myself. There really is no one that's blowing the doors off for Carolina. Svechnikov about 6 shots per game, averaging over the last 10. And yeah, that's fine. That's 6 shots at the net. If it's 2.5, yeah, but it's going to be 3.5. I just don't think that you're finding a ton of value in any of these guys. Now, the one guy that, if you find it, I think might be a bit more interesting is a guy like Brett Pesce, 5.5 shot attempts per game. You find him at 1.5. That feels real safe to me. That's probably the only guy I think is real strong overall in this game. I've played Kuznetsov a couple times at 2.5. He's totally fine. Definitely a good rate shooter historically, and he's picked it up as of late, but that's really all I'm looking at here. So let's move forward. Our next game is Philadelphia at Ottawa. This one I am betting right now. I'm going to take Philadelphia here at plus 100. Ottawa, they're losing Shabbat. They might not have Stutzel. The only caveat to betting against the Senators is they're going to be starting Forsberg in net. They've already announced that. On Saturday, they were back to Gustafsson. I think Forsberg is just not a terrible goalie. Like, he's useful enough to where I'm like, well, do I really want to get, crazy here? Is he a great goalie? No, but this is a .916 save percentage goalie with the Ottawa freaking Senators. Granted, he doesn't have Shabbat in front of him now. That's far and away their best defenseman by almost every conceivable metric you can pull. Shabbat, he missed, a good amount of that. He only played 9 minutes and he had 5 shots on goal and amazing assist. So once he went out, Brandstrom saw 28 minutes in a game that, I'm kind of saying I think Ottawa might be down in. Yeah, Brandstrom immediately becomes a really good GPP option. He's, I'm assuming, really cheap, but let me quickly check. Brandstrom is minimum salary on this slate, of freaking course. Is he the best rate shooter in the world? No. Did you see 27.5 minutes last game in power play 1? Absolutely. I think he pairs amazingly with Brady Tkachuk. I do like the over here just fine. Both these teams are going to get, well, not both, Flyers on a back-to-back after Giroux's, I think, 1000th game. So I do think that you could talk me into stacking Brady and Brandstrom easily. Brady profiles to be one of the best individual expected goals players on the slate. He has 16 shots on goal in his last 2 games, and he hasn't scored in 3. So I'm definitely going to take him to score. And I think this game is a fine over bet, over 6.5 minus 105. We don't know we're getting a net in Philly, but probably Martin Jones. And that's the other reason why I don't know if I want to bet this right now. But with Stützle out and Shabbat out, I just think the Flyers are the better team. I think the Flyers are just overall not terrible. So I am just going to roll with it. Maybe they go back-to-back hard. I don't know, but I might wait on it then. Man, I kind of talked myself into this. Who started in goal for the Flyers? I'm going to look that up really quickly. Now I'm second guessing myself a little bit live on the show. I don't have to bet it right now. I'm not contractually obligated, but now I want to know who started in goal for the Flyers tonight, because that might really change my tune. But I'm going to keep this moving. Right, I do like the Flyers. Probably either way. I'm just saying, am I going to bet it now or later? If I'm going to bet it later, that's because I think Martin Jones might be in net. And I'm just kind of assuming that it doesn't really matter that much, because the Ottawa Senators bottom 9 is now atrocious without, there already is bad, and their defensive core is terrible. So I think the Flyers should win this either way. On the Flyers side, Konechny is just an awesome play. He should be, a really good value with Giroux. Is Giroux still going to be on the team? I don't know. Maybe. Probably should be. So I think that this bet overall, it doesn't really matter to me. I'm just saying, am I going to bet this now or later? So let's take a look. They started 79 in nets. 79 is, so they're saying Martin Jones is in tomorrow. So I'm going to wait on this then. So I think this line might be even better for me. So actually I will wait on it. I think if I'm going to look for the Flyers at plus 120 with Martin Jones in net. So live on the show, you're welcome. Going to give you even better content. Hopefully by the time you look at this, the Flyers line's already moving, because I'm betting it either way. The next game is Boston at the Winnipeg Jets. We have the Winnipeg Jets at home playing no Patrice Bergeron, Boston Bruins. I'm going to take Winnipeg here as a home dog. I think that there's a few things that are factoring in here. First off, Boston without Bergeron is clearly not the same team. They went out against Minnesota. They scored 2 goals on 1.8 expected goals. That was because Talbot is bad. They really didn't have anyone, I would say, that was just absolutely cooking for them. Their highest expected goals guy was Taylor Hull at 0.3. Yikes. I don't even think what's his name. Pasternak made their list. He was atrocious. It was versus Minnesota. I will openly admit that they're going to have more than 1.8 expected goals against Winnipeg. Everyone does. I mean, Winnipeg gives up expected goals like candy on Halloween, but I'm looking at this game and I'm thinking, you know what? Winnipeg is way too cheap on DraftKings. I'm definitely stacking them on DraftKings. And B, this price is just wrong. 115, I'm taking it right now, I think. But you can wait on it. And I don't think it's going to get much worse. We should be seeing, I would assume, Ullmark in net as well for Boston. Swayman started their last game against Minnesota. He lost. He had 33 shots against. This game should have pace. I think you could justifiably take the over 6. I take almost every over with Winnipeg. It's minus 120. So I might just tease it up right now to 6.5, maybe 7, and see if we can't get fireworks here. Like I said, Boston should have better output of expected goals. I think Pasternak should bounce back after a 1.5 DraftKings score with 1 shot on net. I think this is a spot. They might even change up the lines. They should get Studnicka in there on their top 6. He might be a value. So I think that there's reason to have optimism in this game. I think this and the Flyers game really do profile to be two of the better games, just like overall. So those are the games I'll be stacking, but I'm taking both dogs here. The other thing I think that's, got to start factoring in is, Boston really has nothing to play for. They're on the road. They're on the road for, it seems like they've been on the road forever. They went home for a few games and now they're back on the road again in Minnesota and Winnipeg. So, I just think this is a nice spot analytically and just logically for Winnipeg, who is just, again, they're not that bad. Like, I know that the record isn't great. I know Hellebuck's been here nor there, but back-to-back wins for them, 3 of their last 4 for Hellebuck and net. I think that this is just a much better team than people give him credit for. Comrie's had 4 straight wins as well. So if he's in net, I don't think it really matters that much. So I'm definitely taking Winnipeg here plus money. It's no Bergeron's out. That's really all I need to know to bet against Boston. They were a shell of a team when he was out last time, and they've already shown up that way now. Our next game is Buffalo at Calgary. Obviously, Calgary minus 330 is just a stupid bet. It's useless. It's not any fun. They should win this game for sure. Buffalo's been hot. They're coming into Edmonton tonight. We haven't seen this game yet, so we don't know. The over-under is at 6.5. I like the over. But I think if some states don't offer this, but the race to 4 for Calgary, I think is just the better way of going about this rather than taking their over 3.5. Right now, over 3.5 for them is minus 145. I don't have the race to 4 yet. I don't think I'm going to get it at all. I don't know if New York offers it. I tried to look, I just couldn't find it. And I thought maybe it'd come out later, but I don't think we get race to 4. So if you have that in your state, normally you just get, a few percentage points better on that. And to think that Buffalo is also going to score 4 is really, really optimistic for a back-to-back Sabres team. So I think if you like Calgary to get over that 3.5, which DraftKings is saying is super likely, and they've been scoring at will, and they're probably going to be playing Tokarski, so makes a ton of sense. I'd rather just take the race to 4 and say, yep, Calgary gets those 4. It's probably going to be like minus 120, 125. I'd rather win more money. So either way, I think that's a really, really, really sound bet. If you want to tease it up to 4.5, I don't fault you in that. I mean, think about this, if they score 4 goals, let's just actually put this into actual literal money. So let's say I bet $100 and they score 4 goals. I would get back my 168.96. If they score that additional 5th goal, so instead of 4, they score 5. So I'm saying about $68 profit or a $155 profit if they get 1 more goal. I mean, I know it's 3 versus 4 or 4 versus 5. Like, it's a big stretch to think, teams don't score 5 as often. But I don't hate it. I think Buffalo is good enough offensively that they might push the pace, and Tokarski is terrible. So I'm totally fine with it if you want to go all the way up. It just seems like a lot of equity to be in between that 1 goal. And I think they could get 5. So I'm fine with it. Buffalo should give up a lot defensively. They're not great defensively. They're not too bad, but their goaltending is going to be terrible here. And Calgary should have a million shots. So that's all I'm really betting here. I don't think any of the props are super considered, but I just continue to bet Lindholm, and he continues to hit. He was at 2.5 at plus money. I bet him, I think 4 or 5 nights in a row. He's hit 4 or 5 for me. So I'm going to bet him again. It's Buffalo back-to-back. Seems easy. Next, we have Florida at Anaheim. Florida, obviously a huge favorite here. Anaheim is sending off pieces. They played, who did they play? I think they played the Rangers and didn't play that bad, but my Rangers bets all hit, so I didn't really care. Anaheim is a weird team. I don't love to bet for against them too often. I think that they're a better team than people give them credit for, but I just don't really think I'm going to find myself with a ton of bets in this game at all. It just doesn't feel like a game that I want to get heavy on. I know minus 215 for Florida on the road, back-to-back, multiple games on the West Coast. They haven't really shown up on this trip in droves and played amazing. So I think this is just a full fade for me in every capacity. The over under 6.5. Yeah, again, just no thank you. Anaheim is fine offensively, but not great. 2.8 expected goals against the Rangers. They get 3. I just no thank you. This game's a full fade for me in every capacity. I don't even know if there's one prop that I'd be over the moon about. Trevor Zegras is the best in this game as far as shots per 60, shot attempts, that is. 2.5 might be fine here. Florida can give up shots, and on a back-to-back, it might be worth a look. But other than that, all the Florida props are going to be priced out of consideration. Eventually, though, the Barkov prop is going to be one that we're going to be hammering. He just hasn't been shooting enough, but it's 2.5 now, and it's down to minus 150. I might start betting that sooner or later because he's a great rate shooter, and it just hasn't been there. But this game overall, it's a fade. We'll get to the final game, Colorado against San Jose on a back-to-back. Yeah, obviously this is going to be a game that Colorado should win. It's a game that I like the under, if anything here, but 6.5 minus 120. No, San Jose is plus 210 at home. I think a lot of times betting that home team at that kind of a price will end up being beneficial in the long run, but back-to-back against Colorado, a team that, in San Jose that is just very incapable offensively right now. They are, in the past 10, have been one of the worst expected goals teams. And I don't even think it's been particularly close. 2.6 last game against Florida. Yeah, I think that's fine. Erik Karlsson had 3 shots on net, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 get blocked. So Erik Karlsson's shot prop is one that I'm going to be definitely teeing up here as one of my favorites. It should be plus money at 2.5, and he hit it last time and had 11 shot attempts. Mental math. So I'm going to be doing it again. I respect this Colorado team through and through, but I don't know, man. Like, they can give up shots. Karlsson's playing 27 minutes, and he's going to fire him at net all night because they need to get offense going. So overall in this game, it's probably a full fade on DraftKings because I do like the under here a bit. The only piece I might consider is McKinnon, who is the highest expected goals guy, the highest shooter, and over his past 10 games, and last game I know was a bit of a disappointment, he's averaging 9.2 shot attempts. Like, it doesn't get much better than that. Over a whole shot attempt more over the last 10 than Ovechkin, who normally excels beyond all reason in this metric. So yeah, I think that there's a real good chance and a real good reason to think that he could be in a really good spot here against the back-to-back San Jose team. San Jose is doing everything in their power to get Karlsson and Burns on the ice. They have 4 other guys that are very bad on their core. Middleton is, I guess, like not completely useless would be the best term. And the other 3, including Vlasic, are just a train wreck. Like, they should not be in the NHL. So for that reason, yeah, I like Colorado, obviously, but minus 250 on the road. I don't know. Bet it if you want. You get it's parlay fodder. It's fine parlay fodder in its own right, but I'm not going to take it here myself. Minus 1.5. I don't know. What are we doing? I like the under here, so I just don't really want to get crazy and think that there's going to be a ton of goals. We don't know who's for sure in net tonight. It's projected. I have that. It's projected. No, they don't even tell me. It's probably going to be Reimer. If it is Reimer and we're getting Sawchenko, I might just take the puck line on Colorado and move on. But let's go over my favorite bets of the night. Let's get you on out of here. Favorite bet of the night overall, I think props wise, let's go over those first, is Erik Karlsson. I already said it. Ton of rate shooting there. I think that you can talk me into a lot of Winnipeg guys for their shot props. They are getting Andrew Kopp back, who I didn't mention. He's on a line with, I believe it's, oh my God, why even guess? Why guess? I have it. It was Kopp, Lowry, and Svechnikov. Yikes. So Connor, Dubois, and Ehlers. That has a lot of rate shooters. It's really tough to find the right guy. I think I'm just going to stick with Scheifele over 2.5 in that game. I like it a lot. I think that Boston will have the shutdown line that you need to get it done, and Winnipeg will put up a ton of shots. So I'm going to go with Scheifele over 2.5 as one of my favorite props. I think that you could definitely get me in on Konechny or Giroux, whatever one you prefer. Those seem like really good props. Definitely Brady to score and his shots over 3.5. I just keep hammering it. He just keeps shooting. And then Lindholm over 2.5, and that's probably it. McKinnon's fine as well. I think over 4.5 is fine. Like I said, he's putting 9 shot attempts and he's supremely gifted. So he could definitely hit that against San Jose, who's in just really bad, not good team. As far as the money lines, etc., I'm going to let Carolina get down a little bit. I'm going to let Philadelphia get up a little bit, and I'm going to take Winnipeg right now. So Winnipeg plus 115. I'm going to bet Carolina as soon as I see it anywhere around minus 130. And Philadelphia, I'm hoping to get to 120, 115. I'm going to wait on it, though. And let's see if I'm right or wrong. Okay. So if you want to clip this, take it together. I'm going to see where this line's end up moving to. I've been wrong before. I think I've been more right than wrong, though. So let's see if they can get these lines correctly, and let's all win a bunch of money. It's St. Patrick's Day today, but it's all weekend. So the luck of the Irish is on our side. Enjoy this Friday slate, and rate, review, all that stuff. Follow me on Twitter. You know what to do. If you haven't done it now, you're not going to do it. So enjoy your weekend.